Bam! On to the next fish. Yes, this here is one of the best ways if you want to make really good silver and XP in the low level range, meaning under level 20, and above all, if you want to make percentages in float fishing. I have been at this spot for 1 hour now and have farmed up almost 100 fish, and the whole thing is already looking really good. And I just caught a new personal record on the pole rod. Yes, so I am currently out here with my low level account. It just turned level 12, and with level 12, or rather with one big fish, I directly got the level up too. I will show that in a moment. That was, for me personally, the biggest fish I've ever caught on this small pole rod. Let's take a detailed look in a moment. First, let's look at normal fishing. So what do you do here to get really nice silver and XP? And of course also percentages in float fishing. So in this fishing style, we want to get really nice percentages. Because float fishing has become extremely effective here in Russian fishing 4 over the last few months. With the appearance of Elk Lake, we can build up skill points really well and effectively in float fishing and use that later on as well. So from level 12 onward, travel to the Belaya River, and in theory I could already keep going at the Belaya River right now, but I'm still waiting a bit because I first want to unlock Bolognese fishing. How you progress effectively in float fishing and everything that is important, or rather everything you should buy so you progress effectively, that is already explained in the float fishing tutorial. For every fishing style, you will find a matching tutorial playlist on the channel. So if you want to become a bottom fishing angler, click on the orange playlist. If you would rather do spinning, then click here on the turquoise playlist. And if you would like to do float fishing, then take the purple playlist here. And there you will find everything explained step by step, how you best move forward. Yes, as I said, these are the small fish I am currently out here fishing for. And now I am also looking for the last few bleak. Ideally, you catch bleak on fly, and because unfortunately you often cannot buy the fly at all, since it is simply sold out here in the shop. Let's take a quick look. So here we have the fly as bait, and yes, here it is of course sold out again in the normal sizes, and accordingly I do not buy the normal fly, but simply the horse fly here. And with that I can fish just as well, also for bleak for example, or for dace. And that one only costs 8 silver here. That means I will buy it. I will even buy it twice right away. That's how much silver I still have. And what is also regularly really worth it when you are starting out is this bait box. For under 12 silver, we get a variety of different baits here. I will also buy that one twice right away. I just need to unpack both of them in the inventory now. Both, ideally. And now I have enough bait again, one more free meal, and then I run straight back to the spot because it is now slowly heading toward the evening hours, and I need to check that I rebuild my entire setup a bit in a moment. However, I specifically went to these float fishing routes here because float fishing is simply so effective. And I also want to keep progressing in float fishing because later I want to keep fishing at the Belaya River with the Bolognese rods, and there I want to fish for the big brown trout and grayling with the Bolognese rods. So here we already have the next fish. We'll reel that one in easily too and swap it out again. So right now I am fishing with bloodworm on one rod. It works really well too. What also works excellently is castor and of course horsefly here. So those are the 3 that are already very important, and the ultimate bait is still simply the completely normal earthworm. The plain worm, that one is absolutely worth it. Especially for fishing at night and in the evening hours, this completely normal earthworm is worth it. You could actually also buy that one separately. Or you get the shovel and continuously keep digging for this worm so that you always have the chance to dig up the worm. But now, right here with the horsefly, it's quite interesting too. Here, you not only catch the bleak all the way up to trophy weight, so that is definitely possible too, but also every now and then the dace. So that works as well too. And now I of course have to check in the cafe in between. I already have 100 fish together, and that means now I have to check a bit how I can hand in the fish here right now. Is it worth it? No, I'm still missing one fish here. So that means I need a bit of space in my net right now, and accordingly I am now selling a few of the plain fish here. Specifically, I am selling the really small ones from the chub here. Those are not worth it yet anyway, and there are also rarely cafe orders for them. And now I quickly move on and look for one or two more of the bleak so that I can finally complete the cafe orders here. Let's keep going here with the dace too. I'll gladly take that one as well, of course. It's worth it. Cast out again quickly. By the way, if you want to fish specifically for dace, then set the bait depth rather to 35 to 40 centimeters. That works significantly better if you want to fish for dace. And if you now want to go specifically for bleak here, then you set the depth really shallow to 18 centimeters. Now I just have to check quickly. Here, for example, 40 centimeters is still set too. I'm resetting that back to 18 centimeters as well. And now I'm just paying attention to when one of the floats goes under again. As I said, I actually only need one or two more of the bleak so that I can hand in both cafe orders. What is also always worth it for float fishing is this stationary fishing style. So we place the floats into the current, and the moment the float goes under, we can simply lift and we have immediately caught our target fish. So place it again into the current so that the line is taut, and the moment the float then goes under, we can simply lift. So I have the rods placed on the keys here, and then I really only have to press one key. The fish hooks itself automatically the moment we lift the rod, because there is always a small jerk, and that small jerk causes the hook set. Of course, it can also happen that the fish then does not hook. That happens too from time to time. Here one is going for it right now. There we go. And we didn't get that one. So that happens every now and then too. But generally you actually get a pretty good hook set, especially if you buy higher quality hooks here too. So don't buy cheap hooks, but a decent quality. I'm currently using hook size 18 here. That is also excellent, not just for float fishing, but also for bottom fishing. And of course, all of that is already explained in detail in the tutorials as well. So if you still have any questions about the game, dive into the tutorials. The current tutorial playlists contain all the information from over 17,000 hours of playtime. The complete experience is packed in there, how to best progress in the game right now, and of course also how to best make silver and XP so that you progress as quickly as possible. Here we even caught a frog. Oh, that's rare too. First frog right now. Very nice. That also happens every now and then when you fish near water plants, usually though rather near water lilies. So now I need one more bleak so that I can hand in the cafe orders here. That would be good. And we're already slowly heading into the evening hours, and that means, let's see, whether it's too small or whether it fits 23 grams. Slowly in the evening hours, the bleak bites less and less, and at some point that's it. And then we actually do have to rebuild our setup because now we want to catch some really big fish soon. Now let me quickly check the cafe again. 27 grams is needed. 23 grams was the bleak just now. So, unfortunately, that one was too small. I need a bigger bleak. I hope I catch it in a moment because now it's already 10 p.m. It's dark, and once it gets dark, it becomes extremely unlikely that the bleak will bite at all anymore. And then you should also rebuild the entire setup by step. We'll do that in a moment as well. So a completely different setup again, so that we can catch different fish with it. But I'll also wait until 11 p.m. because from 11 p.m. the official night phase begins in the game. Bam, one is going for it again. Unfortunately, not hooked though. I think another fish is swimming in right now. There we go. And one on the other rod too. We got that one as well. Hopefully a good weight. Very good weight. That should be enough. And here it's biting on this one too. I think that fish got away again. But that should be enough now. That should at least let me hand in the next cafe order. Let's take a look. I think the cafe order with the bigger bleak, that should fit. So that already looks really good. We now have 6 bleak here, and we're taking all of them now. By the way, also regarding handling and how you operate all of this, that you can quickly click on and select one fish or another here, all of that is of course also explained in the tutorial. So, quickly sell now, 29 silver for those few fish, and now I have 3 fish left over for the other order. Maybe that will be enough too. The trophy fish, we don't want to sell that one like this of course. We'll sell that separately here at the fish market, because that of course brings in really good silver too. Here is the fish, it brings in 35 silver, this one trophy. So it's worth it in terms of silver too to fish for these small fish, and that's why I'm selling this fish here now as well. Now I have a bit of space in the net again, and now I'm heading back to the spot and we're rebuilding the whole thing once more. Specifically into the really heavy-duty setup that I used to catch a really big fish here just now. For me personally, that is my biggest fish on such a small setup. So I have a setup here with 4.8 kilograms of breaking strength, and what I caught on 4.8 kilograms was a 7.7 kilogram heavy burbot, so almost twice as heavy as the breaking strength. That was also extremely dangerous. The fish nearly broke the line several times because of course the line can't handle it when such a heavy fish bites. Why can you do that? Because the fish is of course lighter in the water than those 7 kilograms. And that means as long as the fish was in the water and it was right here at the water's edge, I could pull it back very slowly, step by step, always pulled a little further with small steps. As long as the fish is in the water, it doesn't weigh 7 kilograms, but is significantly lighter. And that then makes it possible for us to land such a fish, even with such a way too small setup. Oh, there's another bleak, and now I missed it, and now I missed it again. Too bad, really. Okay, so this is of course always super important to watch. How did you set up the setups so that you always know which rod you placed on which number? So we're rebuilding the whole thing now. We take the earthworm, we go down to 1.2 meters of depth, 1.2 meters, so that when we cast out now, we nicely touch the bottom, and then the rod is set down here. So the first rod is in place, and what you can already see now is that the float no longer drifts along, but stays in place. Because the bait is lying on the bottom, the float only moves forward very, very, very slowly now. And we do exactly the same thing here now. Earthworm, go down to 1.2 meters of depth, and then we can easily cast this out again, and now have the next float standing right next to it. And now of course we take the third one here too, and do the same thing. The earthworm is rigged, and now we set our setup here to bottom, and now we're basically doing bottom fishing with float rods. So 1, 2, 3. All 3 rods are now standing next to each other, and now we of course have the chance to catch fish that live more on the bottom, and you can do this everywhere you want to fish. Especially close to the shore, we also regularly catch the roughy, maybe even the Donit's rough. And right here at this spot, several burbot actually went for it too. So burbot and perch were mainly on the earthworm here. The earthworm simply offers the possibility that you catch many fish here with a good weight and can already have real action here too. By the way, it is also extremely windy right now. Normally I very rarely fish with the float on days when it's this windy. The float fishing works best when the wind speed is under 3. Now we're even over 5 here. Earlier it was even really stormy. The wind speeds were at 9 then. That's not much fun for float fishing really. Despite all that, it worked reasonably well here still. Yes, and if we now stand here a bit longer and simply nothing happens for a longer while, well then we just cast out again and maybe cast to a slightly different spot. So just cast in this direction, always charged up to about 75%, cast out easily, and then just let the bait drift a bit or let it sit lightly. And the moment a fish arrives here now, we then see that it causes the float to keep drifting. So the moment a fish comes, here on this one at the front, I think one is already coming in. There's already a little wobble. It's now causing the bait to lift and the float starts to drift. And the moment the fish is really bitten, we can then immediately lift the float in that case, and usually it hooks pretty easily then. Oh, that one really took off. Well, we'll take that one too. A mussel. Incredible. So the first mussel caught on this account, I'll gladly take that one too, because I think this mussel at 51 grams was also in the cafe order. Well, actually 2 hours later, I, of course, sell it directly. So I need silver on this account. That's why it gets sold directly. Now it should be biting. There we go. So it lifted the float just very slightly. Here we have the next burbot right away. A small burbot. Well, that's still fine, of course. That one you can lift easily. A big burbot. And above all, one that is also over the weight of the breaking strength is immediately completely in the red zone. And there it means keeping the rod up the whole time and just walking back and forth. So the rod stays held up the entire time with the right mouse button, and then just with really small steps, click, 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 very carefully walk backward. If the fish pulls too hard, then you have to quickly walk forward a bit again so that the tension goes back down. So you have extreme tension here the whole time, especially when you catch such an oversized fish, which would normally cause your setup to break immediately. And here, another fish seems to be going for it again. It's slowly getting to be time too. Maybe there's another nice bite coming up in a moment, because it's already almost 4 a.m. again soon. And that means the night phase and the night fish will slowly be over again then too, and we'll rebuild again. So then it means rebuilding everything back, rather back to the fly as bait again, so that we then have the chance to catch the other fish too, the bleak, for example. And there we go, we got the rough again too. There we go, that's really, really nice too. 140 grams trophy weight. This one here was 130 grams, so we'll gladly take that one too, and it's also regularly included in the cafe orders. Let's just take it here. So both for 8 silver, handed in already again too. By the way, Gibel carp and crucian carp, you can also catch those here. You'll find those rather up here though. Well, I don't even have a map. That's crazy. I need to quickly buy a map of this water here. So map bought a whopping 5 silver. So up here in this area, you occasionally get gibel carp and crucian carp. Just use bread as bait. That's how you catch them really quickly, and then you can complete these cafe orders too. So quickly back now, and there's even something on again. There we go, small dace here on earthworm. And now I'm rebuilding everything here though, specifically back to the fly. Set the whole thing back here to 18 centimeters, and then we just cast it out easily again. I'm leaving 2 rods on bottom for now because it's just such a transition phase right now. Maybe something will still go for it on bottom, but I'm also already hoping for the first bleak for the cafe order. And that's how you have the chance here to pull out one fish after another and to catch so many different fish in one place at one spot. It's just important that you know how and where to catch the fish. The basic tutorials, those are also super important so that you know what to pay attention to, at what depth you need to fish to catch which fish, which baits you can use, so which baits are interesting for the different fish species. And then it of course also always goes better here with fishing in Russian, Fishing 4. The whole game is simply a constant learning process. The first 1,000 hours in the game are actually just tutorial. So a player with under 1,000 hours in the game simply still needs a whole lot of experience so that he learns the entire game step by step. And even with over 17,000 hours in the game, it's still the case for me that I keep learning something new every now and then. So even I am nowhere near having learned everything in the game. That simply takes years, and you keep learning something new every now and then. But don't get discouraged, because even as a beginner with really simple rods, you can catch fantastic fish. If you know how and where to go and where best to fish, then you also progress super quickly in the game. So dive into tutorial playlist. For every fishing style, for every situation, there's already the matching video here. I'm now going to go sell off my remaining net, and after that I'll move on to Elk Lake. There I'll do spinning next, because I still want to make a bit more percentage progress in spinning. Right now I'm already very satisfied here with the cafe orders combined. Already made over 150 silver here now, and the important thing is caught over 100 fish here. So a good hour now here at the spot and fished really effectively. If this helped you and you liked it, leave a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video. Until then, tight lines.